Before we start today's episode, I would like to quickly read you our podcast disclaimer. The content in this podcast is for general reference and educational purposes only. It is not meant to be complete or exhaustive or to be applicable to any specific individual's medical condition. No information provided in this podcast constitutes medical advice and is not an attempt to practice medicine or to provide specific medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. This podcast does not create a physician-patient relationship and is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Please do not rely on this podcast for emergency medical treatment. Remember that everyone is different, so make sure you consult your own healthcare professional before seeking any new treatment and before you alter, suspend, or initiate a new change in your routine. Welcome to The Starting Gate. We're your hosts, Dr. Kitty Dotson
and Dr. Sarah Sheets,
two internal medicine doctors who spent years practicing traditional primary care. Over time, we realized something was missing from modern healthcare. A real understanding of how everyday lifestyle choices impact overall health.
We'll help you cut through the noise of the countless health influencers and their conflicting opinions. Because no matter who you follow, the basics of lifestyle medicine are at the heart of it all.
Welcome back to The Starting Gate. We're your hosts, Dr. Kitty Dotson
and Dr. Sarah Sheets.
So today we're going to keep talking about stress and how we're going to try to manage that the best we can throughout the holiday season this year. A really big topic that we want to make sure we discuss is how much exercise can help not only with your physical body, but how much it affects your mental health, your resilience, and really just helps you deal with stress.
We're excited to welcome our guest today, Matt Veigl, owner of BFit Gym, and we hope that you can get an understanding of the far-reaching effects of exercise so you can add that to your toolbox of stress management strategies and look at other ways of also making social connections and thinking about using the gym for that as well. So, Matt.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
How are we?
We're so happy to have you today.
Thank you for having me.
Can you give our listeners an idea of who you are and where did you come from?
My name is Matt. I came from my mom. I am from Kentucky. I grew up in Louisville, came here to Lexington to go to school, went to Transylvania University, and I'm one of these weird people that is using my degree. I got my major in exercise science, and now I train people. So it's like, hey, I'm going to spend that much money on something. I might as well use it. So look, I've been a gym rat my whole life. I love the gym. My favorite thing I think about the gym is how fair it is. If you work at it, if you put the time and you put the effort into it, you will get better. You will see benefit. There's more efficient ways. You can definitely accelerate or decelerate that, but you will get better if you spend time in the gym. So I've always been a gym rat. I fell in love with it when I was like a freshman in high school, 8th grade, and you can't take me out of it. So I've been training for 21 years. I have trained in all sorts of different arenas as far as like college athletics. I've trained in physical therapy and rehab type settings. I've trained in golf facilities. I've trained in small private studios and corporate settings. I've trained in kind of your traditional group class trainings that are just fun little rock concerts. And now we've kind of taken a lot of those disciplines, all of which have something cool and positive to offer, and we've just kind of blended them in, and we've created a space where folks are able to come in and we're able to give you what you need to get to your goal from kind of where you're at. So we'd like to meet you where you are and take you where you want to be. So that's me. I'm a gym rat who made a living wearing shorts and doing what he loves.
We love that.
What is your favorite part about your work?
Besides I can wear shorts every day, I love helping people. And I love when people have that kind of aha moment, or you can see their face light up and you kind of do something or help them do something that changes their life and makes it better. I will always run off into stories and little analogies and things. And I have this, people always ask me, of all the people who train, like, what's the client, what's your favorite client? And they think it's going to be some athlete, or it's like, I remember this lady that I trained, and she was, middle to older age, and she had a lot of back pain, and her family, her husband, they had this little crew, and they would go on golf trips, and they would go play golf. They play like three rounds a day. It's a ton of golf, and a lot of them weren't any good, but they had a lot of fun. And she was in so much pain that she would get kind of cranky, and it would kind of affect her mood. And then like she's not having a good time, her husband's not having a good time. Look, I didn't really help her golf game that much, but we made her stronger. We got her out of her pain, and like she just had more fun and she was enjoying these trips and everybody was happier. And again, she was not very good at golf, but we got her out of pain, we got her stronger, we got her more resilient, and like just seeing her change and seeing how not only her change had an effect on her, but the people around her, it was just awesome. And so helping people be happier, lead a better life, and become the best version, or at least a stronger version of themselves is probably the most rewarding thing and the reason we do this.
Well, I don't think we could have asked for a better example for this show, because we really wanted to not dwell as much as talking about just how exercise helps your body physically.
It does do that, though.
It definitely does do that.
Jacked and tan.
But also just how it helps you in other ways. And I know we've alluded to some of this before, but we just wanted to go into the science a little bit about how exercise can help with stress. We know that exercise in the short term activates the HPA axis, and that's the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. And that's been in social media a lot because that ultimately leads to a rise in cortisol. So exercise causes a short-term rise in cortisol. But when you are exercising regularly, it actually helps your body be able to cope with stress more easily. And so when you do have that stress come up, either your day-to-day stress or a different acute stressor, you don't have as much of a rise in cortisol. So you're able to moderate that better. So regular exercise really leads you to be more resilient in that terms of cortisol and managing your stress. Then another thing we see from exercise is a rise in endorphins. And those are those things you hear about like with a runner's high. That's that great feeling you have after a workout. And those endorphins really help improve our mood and even decrease our sensation of pain.
And exercise has been shown to help decrease inflammation in the body. And this is something long-term stress can increase inflammation. So it's a counterbalance there. Regular exercise is also going to help us sleep better, which is something that is really important for stress management. And overall, when you're participating in regular exercise, you're able to concentrate better, you can be more creative, and have better focus. We know physical activity has a protective benefit against many different mental health conditions, such as bipolar disorder, and it can help with the treatment of many different conditions, such as ADHD, anxiety disorders, depression disorders, psychotic disorders, to the point where it helps reduce symptoms and can be a great tool in addition to some medications you may need to manage these conditions. So in a time where you feel like you don't have a lot of control over your schedule because of the holidays, if you think ahead and try to plan for physical activity so you can have a little bit of that me time, it will be helpful for your stress management overall.
Yeah, and usually helps you have a little more patience with those around you too.
There has been many of times I've walked into a room and my husband points to my running shoes and says, "Please go." So I know that physical activity is something that is significantly important to my mental well-being. So in dealing with stress, I will not be cutting it out during the holidays. I will tell you that.
Also improves your family's enjoyment of the holidays.
Exactly.
That kind of goes back to what you were saying, Matt, about you can go to the gym and get something done and get better. And sometimes when you feel like other things are not necessarily following that pattern, I think really physical activity is exactly that. It's something where you can work hard toward it and really see a difference in the end.
Yeah, and recharge your batteries. One of the phrases that you hear all the time is like you got to pour from a full glass, and this can be definitely a tool. Different types of exercise can be a tool to kind of recharge your batteries.
Can you give us some examples of how physical movement within your gym has impacted some of your clients' health and mental well-being?
So probably the most glaring, obvious example is we have a heavy bag, we have a tire with sledgehammers, we have med balls, and like everybody kind of comes to the same conclusion with this is, look, hitting the bag or hitting the hammer on the tire is not going to fix any of the problems or the issues that are causing you stress, but it chills you out about it, and it gives you like the clarity and the peace of mind to actually deal with them in a productive and positive way. We're sitting here talking about exercise, dealing with your mental health. When you get mad or pissed, what's the first thing you want to do? You want to hit or throw something. I mean, like you have an emotion and you literally have a physical response to it. So your physical body takes care of your mental health, but how you talk to yourself, your mental capacity and your mental health has an effect on your physical body as well. We talked about the cortisol, and it's funny because there's a fine line of dosing with the cortisol. So you want a manageable level of cortisol, but you don't want too much of it. And so you want to make sure that you're getting the right type and the right dose of exercise too, because you can get into some weird feedback loops of, when you combine moderate cardiovascular and then a caloric deficit for a long enough time, your body can go into a freak out mode of like, hey, you expect a lot and you're not giving me a lot, So you have to know how to utilize this tool, because everything's a tool, and how you fuel your machine and how you utilize these tools to maximally benefit you. Because you can mess it up. And you can, just like any other tool, you can use it responsibly or irresponsibly.
I think that's a really great point, because sometimes something that we enjoy doing, we overdo it.
I'm there. I'm with you. I'm right there. Yeah. I only worked out once today. What? It's no, absolutely. And look, and we're all guilty of it in one way, shape, or form, and it can look a lot of different ways, but the meat and potatoes of it is the same. You can have the person who's obsessed with checking the calories they burned on their watch and making sure that the calories they ate are less every single day for 10 years. And then it's like they have all these issues and they're like, well, what happened? It's like, well, dude, you starved yourself for forever. Or conversely, you have I can't tell you, people are like jacked, ripped, and you're like, wow, you look amazing. And what they see in the mirror is completely not that. And they're disgusted with themselves, or they don't feel like they're worth it. And it's like, dude, what do you mean? You're like perfect. Like, I can't count to how many abs you have. Like, but they don't see that, you know what I'm saying? So, or the people that it takes over their life, and they never go out at night. They never have a beer with their friends, or they can't have a piece of cake. I know those people too. And it's like, hey, no, like, you're allowed to like enjoy things a little bit, and a little bit of, you don't have to be strictly by the book every single second of every single day. We need to do it the majority of the time, and we need to have an overall net positive. But, dosing it and funny story, dosing is everything, right?
Yeah, no, I love that, because that's a message that we're trying to get out on the show, is really trying to have our listeners think about balance and stop living in these extreme ideas, because that is what they see so much on social media. Yeah. Is like, oh, I have to do X, Y, and Z in order to get any sort of result or to feel better at all. And they're so extreme. Like, some of these routines that I see, or things from like a physical fitness world, it's insane. Like, that is not doable in real life.
And we talked about, this whole podcast is about stress. We talk about balancing stress, and your body really doesn't have a way of differentiating stress between physical stress, emotional stress, stress at your job, stress with your family. It's all just stress. And so one of the things that we do at the gym, like when you come in, we ask this really insane question: how are you? And the thing I say it's insane about it is I literally want to know, how are you? Like, I want you to tell me, hey, dude, it's nuts at home. I slept for 4 hours last night. The kids were up screaming. My wife is like all over me. My boss is like, dude, you don't get this done. It's up, but I'm here. Okay, cool. Do you think I need to like kick that person's ass that day? Probably not. It's great that they're here, but maybe we should do some things to kind of fill their battery up a little bit. Conversely, maybe they come in and say, dude, I've been sleeping so good, and like, I am feeling amazing, and I don't think that you actually have enough in here to really push me today. I feel so good. Okay, well, now I'm coming after you a little bit. Okay, and so like I tell people, those are extreme examples, but what I want to do is I want to know where you are so that I can dose this. We need to add the appropriate amount of stress and the right type of stress. I keep coming back to that.
Well, that is our topic today. So and that kind of brings me to, and you may hear some of what Matt's saying and not be able to relate if a 45-minute strength workout actually seems like a mountain to climb to you.
Great point.
But, even just, I know for me, I've probably mentioned this already, but I've found this so much. If I am feeling stressed, if I can just take 5 minutes, it only has to be 5 minutes, and lift a couple of weights for 5 minutes, I feel reset and I can go back to the problem.
Yeah, 100%. And also understand like where you are. I've talked about athletes and people that have been doing this a while, but like if you're coming in, you're starting this, like if you're brand new to workouts or whether it's cardio or strength training, like it's important that you're dosed correctly there too. I had a brand new guy today who's done a tremendous job losing a lot of weight himself, but he's like, hey dude, I actually feel myself getting weak and I want to be strong. So he came in and he literally lifted weights for the first time in 20 years today. He lifted when he was in high school, and today was the first day he said since he's been in high school that he's lifted weights. Okay, so I didn't put a 400-pound bar on his back. I didn't do that. Like we started off very simple. And, we got like 6 exercises in and it kicked his butt. Okay. We're not trying to impress people with how hard we can kick their butt. We're trying to help them achieve a better place and a better version of themselves. And what is that for them at this moment? And then where do they want to get to?
Speaking of that, just thinking about someone that's just getting back into things, do you have any tips for someone that is sitting there thinking, I know I need to do this. I know it would help me manage my stress better, but I don't know that I feel comfortable in a gym yet.
Yeah.
Any tips for just how they get started and find their spot?
Sure, absolutely. There's 2 things that are super important when you're starting off. Consistent, intentional work. Okay, so they need to really focus on what they're doing, how they're executing this. So don't just go in there and be like, okay, I'm going to do, I guess, 3 sets of 10 of squats. Okay, they need to, how am I doing these squats? What type of squat am I doing? Am I moving correctly? Am I loading the right places? Am I loading the wrong places? Do I feel this? Am I getting low enough? All those things, which is good, where a coach comes in, that's good. And then consistently doing it. Look, and this gets into motivation and discipline, which is like one of my favorite topics in the whole world. We are all motivated at first. Oh, it's January 1st. I'm going to the gym. It's going to be awesome. And then by January 15th, nobody's at the gym anymore. Okay. You have to have the discipline on the day 5, 6, 10, 15, week 6 that you're like, oh, it is cold and rainy like it is right now. Nope. I'm going to the gym because that's what I do. It's not because sure, if you want to look better, you want to lose weight, it's because that's what you do, and you make it a lifestyle change. It's just something you do. You floss, you go to the bathroom, you eat food, you sleep, and you go to the gym. Okay, how many days a week? Well, that's going to be different for everybody, but or you at least get some sort of activity in. So you have to have that discipline, not motivation, because look, there's so many days I don't want to go to the gym, like so many, like over half. I just don't. I'm not feeling it today. It doesn't matter if I'm not feeling it today. It's what I do. May it not be the greatest workout I've ever done, for sure. That's fine, but we got something done, and that gradually gets you the improvement you see over time. So consistent, intentional work. What are you doing? How are we doing it? Are we executing this correctly? Are we doing what we want to do? Are we doing what we want and need to do to attain what we want to attain? And we have to do it consistently. Again, I compare workouts to flossing. I don't care that you flossed yesterday. You have to floss today. And hey, guess what? You're going to have to floss tomorrow. It's going to happen. You're going to miss a day every here and there, but 90% of the time we're flossing.
You just made 2 lifestyle medicine doctors very happy.
Yeah. Hey, what's up?
I would just say, especially to get that consistency down, make it as small as you need to make it to start.
Right, exactly.
Just to kind of take a little twist on talking about exercise and stress, something that I experienced personally was when I started doing more resistance training, because I used to be a cardio lover and that's all I ever wanted to do, and would laugh at the thought of lifting weights. My life has changed, and now I actually lift weights and do resistance training regularly, and a benefit of that I just didn't realize was how much it helped with the tension that stress caused in my body, and actually doing resistance training, and it helped relieve a lot of that tension. Can you reflect on that and what your experience is with people,
sure,
as well as yourself? Like, what is that? So
muscles are funny. They're amazing, but they really just do 2 things. They contract and they relax, okay? So they get long and they get short. All the muscles, that's all they ever do. Okay. They can do that at different speeds. They can do that with different forces. They can work together to make it strong. But they can do it a lot of different ways, but they all just get short and they get long. So if you think about tension, you don't even realize that you have chemicals in you that do things, and then you have a physical response. If you're in traffic and you literally, somebody cuts you off and you grip the wheel and you've like turned on every muscle in your body, and sometimes you'll be 30 seconds later, you'll be like, I'm still squeezing my steering wheel to actual death. Okay, everybody has that mad face. The Those are muscles that make that mad face. Okay. And so you're keeping it in your neck, which is attached to your shoulders, and you keep that tension. If you're stressed at work and you're constantly, I speak of this from experience, by the way. My massage therapist be like, bro, you looking in a mirror right now? So you have that physical tension. And then when we lift weights, one of the things that if you're doing it correctly and you're utilizing your breathing in the correct way, which is something that yoga and Pilates do. I always say that yoga and Pilates have the breathing and the lengthening perfect. The strong weight trainers have the intensity and the concentric perfect. And if you meet them somewhere in the middle, then you're actually training probably the way that we should all train. If you learn to do the breathing correctly, and if you really focus on what's getting long here and then what's getting short here and the different phases, the antagonist and antagonist muscles. So like when something's getting short, something else is getting long, and those two need to work together better. And that's, again, we talk about strong. This is where we get into like, when people say strong, I say we need to get stronger. I don't mean bigger. And so I train golfers and women a lot. And so if I say bigger, they're like, no. Okay, so no, I mean stronger. So can your muscles work together as a group better? Are they more efficient? Can we recruit more motor units? And then this is a big one, especially with the golfers. How coordinated are you with that movement? Can you perform that movement more efficiently? Instead of zigzagging, can we perform a straight line? Okay, so you put all those things in, and that's how we get stronger. Sure, big people can be strong, but a lot of times smaller people are also just as strong. This is what we kind of, I told you I'd go off on a tangent. I told you I'd do it. Also, the sky is blue. Did you know? Anyway, so I'm pretty sure at some point in there I said what I wanted to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you did. Do you have, since we're in the holiday season, do you have any tips for people if they're traveling or they're staying in someone else's house? Any tips for how they can get a good workout in?
Absolutely. You can always do body. One, whenever you're traveling, like at holidays or in the middle of June, whatever, as soon as you get to where you can, and that might be an airport, that might be a house, that might be a hotel, I need you to move for like 15 minutes. You have been sitting still, and actually your body hates that. Our biological system knows that if you sit still, something is going to kill and eat you. Like, that's just in that deep reptile brain, those thoughts that none of us are supposed to have, but we all do have. If we sit still, something is coming to kill and eat us. It might be a human, it might be a tiger, but so that, like, we don't like it. That's why when you sit forever and you stand up, you're like, oh God, it was awful. You shouldn't want to do that. So move for 15 minutes, move in all directions, flex, extend, rotate, move up, move down, move left, move right. You can have a great program and you can absolutely build those, but if you just kind of just move, it's fantastic. I tell people that are stuck in office buildings all the time, we used to have these things called cigarette breaks or smoke breaks. Okay. Like, I just want you to like literally walk up the stairs, go to the fire escape and the stairs, go to the stairs, the emergency, whatever, and go up the stairs, go up and down the stairs 2-3 times, go up 5-6 flights of stairs, walk back down, go on a walk outside the building if it's an appropriate setting. Look, if it's 2:00 and you're tired, go walk up and down the stairs for 10 minutes. You won't be tired anymore. You literally won't be. Okay. It's an amazing thing. You get your body moving. So I say all that to say, move your body. If you are, try to find a relative. If you're traveling during the holiday seasons, try to find a relative or a friend that has a gym and go with them. Like, be proactive with it. Maybe you're going to be the impetus that like inspires them. Yes, I have a gym membership. I have not been in 2 weeks. We should go. Okay, I'll go. I mean, how many things do we like talk our relatives into doing that they don't want to do? You know what I'm saying? That's literally what the holidays are all about. So yeah, be the person that's like, hey, am I going to the gym tomorrow? Well, I wasn't. Okay, cool. Let's do it. It's like, okay, so be that. Look, you can always take a walk outside. If it's cold, cool. Put a jacket on. Go outside. It's not that cold yet. Put a jacket on. Go outside for a walk. Every quarter mile, do 15, 20 squats, then do push-ups, then try to find something to row on. You don't have to do like the most amazing workout. You see these cool exercises on Instagram and TikTok, and like this person's like blindfolded, did a backflip with a dumbbell. Cool. I'm glad they can do that. That's amazing. But like, if you squat, if you do some kind of walking lunges, move side to side, rotate, push and pull, that's all you got to do.
Love
so you
that.
could do that in somebody's basement. You could do that in your little hotel room. You could do that wherever. Like, literally knock some push-ups out, do some squats, do some holds in your squats, do some walking lunges, put your foot up on the bed or the seat and do some single leg squats. Do 10 and then hold a 10-second hold at the bottom of the last one. And like, come tell me that was easy.
We're going to be able to spot listeners this holiday season as we drive around neighborhoods and we see people walking and squatting.
Right. Yeah. You know, it's funny. I get people all the time that are like, oh, I'm going to look weird. I'm like, isn't it weird that like you doing something positive for yourself is weird?
I agree.
Isn't that weird? And they're like, it's like, I've started to be like kind of the guy I'll be at dinner or at a bar and I'm like kind of not really drinking. And they're like, isn't it like, oh, what's wrong? I'm like, actually nothing's wrong. Like, I'm actually like, it's cool. Like, I'm just going to have a water instead. I'm good. Like, I'm happy. We're having a good time. It's I'm just not I'm going to wake up tomorrow and feel amazing. That's it. It's all good. But it's weird that we have, we call it a diet. It's like, wait a minute. What are we taking a break from here? Like poisoning ourselves, like doing crappy things and awful things? Like, how is it we have to like stop eating bad so we can do something weird, which is eating good? Like, it's all just, we're a little backwards.
And that's really what lifestyle medicine is all about, is never getting to the point where you feel like you're on a diet, but you've just changed your life. So this is what you do. You eat better because you feel better and
you're
because
disciplined.
You want to.
Yeah.
So.
And people talk about discipline like it's a bad thing. Just having the discipline to say no to something because you want something else. Because we actually, and this is really deep and really simple, we can't have it all. You can't. You can get away with it for a little bit maybe, but you're making a choice.
That's very true. And just thinking about when people are facing these issues and having trouble with keeping up that discipline, we know that being around other people that are showing discipline themselves and getting that reward from whatever it is they're doing, and in this case, primarily we're talking about exercise. So we know that that's contagious to other people around you. How do you see finding a good gym community, or not necessarily even a gym, but just a community where you're focusing on moving your body? How do you advise people to look for that, and how do you see that helping people in your world?
I think the best way to look for it, there's a lot of different ways, and everybody's going to have a different journey to their place, and just trying a bunch of places out, and you find something that sticks. So having an accountability partner is a huge thing. So a friend or a family member is great. Reaching out, starting conversations. This is one of the things that social media can be positive for, is that you can access a lot of people very efficiently. So like, look up some gyms in your area, or look up some churches in your area, or look up some like rec leagues in your area and reach out to them and talk to them and have 3 or 4 questions that are important to you. Hey, do you offer this? Or do you have people that are ex-athletes? Do you have people that are handicapped? Do you have people that have lost a loved one or something? Whatever your situation is, and ask them that. And you may get sick. No. And then all of a sudden somebody's like, oh, actually, yeah, we have the, and then you're like, whoa, okay, cool. And they're just like, well, maybe that's exactly what I'm looking for. So like, ask, you got to talk, and it's tough. Look, you're going to have to talk to people. I would challenge you to do the hard things of reaching out, talking to people, trying new things, trying different groups. And look, you can keep trying. And like, again, it's not a linear journey. So ask questions, talk to people, try things out.
And I think this brings up a great point, because I feel like in today's world, so much, we talk about stress management all the time. And this isn't something we talked about 20, 30 years ago. And I think it's because our stress intolerance is low. And that's because we're not doing some of these hard things, and we're avoiding hard situations. And, exercise is just like Kitty mentioned to start the show. It's a great way to stress your body to build up that tolerance, so your body knows what to do when a different type of stressor comes at you. Realize to improve managing stress may require a little bit of stress to get there.
Right. Our success in technology and advancement as a human species in the past really 70 years has really kind of screwed us a little bit. Look, how do you get food? You go to the grocery. Now you don't have to go to the grocery. They'll literally drop it off. I mean, DoorDash will do everything but eat the food for you. Okay. So our ability to connect is fantastic, but it's also gives us the ability to compare. But we have to be, and I don't know if I've said this word yet, disciplined, to not misuse the tool of ease, the tools which have made our life so easy, and that we still provide ourselves a struggle. And physical exercise is a great way to do that.
Just talking about also the importance of social connectedness when we're talking about stress management, and how important it is to have people to lean into. And I think that's why when it comes also to exercise and doing it with a group and accountability, you're getting two pieces of that. You're getting the exercise, plus if you have other people there with you, you're connecting with people, you're doing hard things together. That combo together for stress management is huge.
You nailed it. You absolutely nailed it. You're doing hard things together. Like, it brings out the best in us, and it builds connections, like you said, which is really, I mean, arguably like one of the fundamental things about being human is connecting with other humans. So, yeah.
And I think as you become an adult, it gets harder to make friendships. You're just not in those situations. Like, I love seeing my kids when we go to a playground and they just randomly walk up to someone they don't know. And they're ready to like go down the slide together and do all that stuff. But we don't do that as adults. And so having situations like this where you are in a group class and you are encouraging each other does put you in a situation where you may be able to forge some new friendships.
When you meet and you work with somebody in person, and when you have a workout with them, like, it's so much harder to fake that. It's so much harder to lie. It's so much harder to be something you're not, because that struggle brings out the realness in you. You know what I'm saying?
And I know that your favorite word is discipline.
It's a good one. I like it.
What are some tips that you provide some of your clients on actually becoming disciplined about physical activity, and those tips that you give them that it keeps on happening? Like, they'll do a great for a couple weeks, big life thing happens, they don't get back on. So what tips do you have for that?
One, excuse my bias here, but you could hire a coach. They're great. At least half, if not more, of what people have me around for is because I'll text, but yo, where are you? People have a sense of responsibility to others. So like, if I'm going to be part of this group, we all know when X person isn't there. We notice it. Having those people that you have the feeling of responsibility to, and then also those people that are going to call you out and be like, yo, I know this is important to you. I know that this is the way you want to live your life, and you're kind of falling short of it. So that's what I excel at. Discipline is a skill, just like anything else. And in a lot of ways, it's like a muscle. You have to train it. Setting a small goal at the beginning of each day that kind of gives you a little momentum. A workout is great for that. I can't tell you how many the most successful people I have come in the mornings. Maybe that's because I'm a morning person, but look, they get it out of the way, they get it done. Their day has momentum. A lot of them, I like to say, hey, look, the hardest part of your day is done. Maybe not emotionally, maybe not mentally, whatever, but like, you've accomplished a physical feat that you're probably not going to do anything physically harder than this all day. So like, in a way, the hardest thing you're going to do today, it's over. Okay, so it's all downhill from here. Kitty's ready to go to the gym. She's like, hey, let's go.
Actually, I am.
Yeah, see, it's like, let's make this happen.
I typically work out at home, but you're really making me just want to get into the movement of things with everybody else. So as we are entering the new year and people are setting new movement goals for themselves and they're working on that discipline and they want to follow through, any other kind of goals as far as, especially if people are getting into movement that they haven't been into before, so as to not hurt themselves? I know you already mentioned trying to do things appropriate form and that kind of stuff, but
forgive me if I sound like a broken record, but you could hire a coach. That's good. I don't know why that one sticks in my head so much. It's so crazy.
I don't feel like I heard you say that yet.
Look, I suck at my taxes. I know it's addition and subtraction. Like, it ain't hard, but like, it's really hard. I hire an accountant. Okay, so that's a really effective way. People always talk to me about my New Year's resolution, like, oh, your business must boom. I actually boom in like March for all the people that failed, because they're looking for like, I'm going to join a gym and I'm going to do this all myself. New Year's is actually physiologically like the hardest time to do this. Several reasons to start your big fitness thing. Several reasons. One, you've been on like a sugar bender for like literally 10 weeks. You're like, Halloween candy, Thanksgiving, Christmas parties for a month. Oh, it's New Year's, and like, okay. So, and also your blood sugar is like, the average is slightly elevated. So you're like, all right, I'm going to like do this. So then your blood sugar is like, your body's like, wait, whoa, where's all my sugar? Where's all my fun? Or where's my booze? Or what? I'm used to all this. I want it. And then, like, let's be honest, the weather sucks. And so that's one. And then you're going to, on top of that, add something. And this is how Americans are. Like, I'm going to go to the gym for 2 hours every day. It's going to be amazing. I'm like, well, now hold on. Okay. So suggestions, I would set attainable goals. Again, like, we don't have to have the world's greatest workout, the first workout we ever do. Look, go get 2 to 3 30-minute lifts in, walk every day, drink some water, watch your sugar. Like, those are all like extremely manageable things. You would do so well starting there. Okay. And then you can make more complex goals as those things become easy, as they become, what are they called? Habits? Is that what they're called?
Yes.
Habits.
We love habits here.
We love them.
And so going into the new year, if somebody was interested in finding a coach and maybe live near VFit, what would you tell them about what's going on at your gym starting January 1?
So all the people that come into our gym start with a fundamental session, which is a one-on-one session with one of our coaches, and we work on literally the fundamentals. So we work on squats, we work on the hinging at the hips, a push-pull, we work on moving through space in all directions, and we work on a little bit of rotation, which arguably is a combination of all that. That's going to also help us build a journey. We're going to ask a lot of questions of you. We want you to ask a lot of questions of us. So how many days a week do you want to work out? Do you like working out in groups? Do you want to do this one-on-one? Do you want to do this by yourself? Do you want to do this here? Do you want to do this there? Sam, I am. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of that coupled with how proficient are you with these movements will help us build a path for you that can go on for a long time. It can change direction later on. A lot of people start off doing one-on-one sessions for 2-3 weeks, and then they get into our groups. That's a great path. It's a very popular path. Some people like the one-on-one stuff, and they stick with that. Some people are like, I want to join the party, and they want to jump in right away. Okay, cool, great. Like, again, everybody's path is going to be a little bit different. So that's how we start at VFit, and then we help build a path for you. Then we've got our online folks who apparently there are people who don't live in Lexington. I don't know of these people, but they're out there. And so we have our online option for them. And with that, you have a similar process. We have kind of a fundamental call is what we do. And we may watch some movement there. We get a lot of video feedback from them, and then we can do anything from just programming their workouts to coaching them, essentially, talking to them 2-3 days a week, getting feedback from their videos, help keeping them accountable with our daily habit tracker. They're all just tools in our toolbox. Then we're just kind of trying to find what tools are going to work best for you on your path.
That's great. And I participated in that online program, was able to learn how
program.
to do a pull-up.
Yeah, that's right. Now she does a pinky finger, one hand. It's great. You looked like how well, like you literally could not do a chin up, and like
I could not. That was my goal of last year,
and we rocked it out, and it didn't really take that long.
No, and it was one of those things that I felt like I learned so much because it was something in my mind that I had told myself, I'm too old. There's no way I'm ever going to pick up this skill because I can't do it already at this age. And then when I proved myself that I could, it just felt great.
Yeah. And then it kind of opens your eyes to so many others. Like, well, dude, I didn't think I could do that, but what could I do this? And look, and then it doesn't have to necessarily be a physical thing. It's like, well, I mean, that seemed impossible. Like, well, this thing, I mean, yeah, it's hard, but like, whatever. And generally, it's really typically not as hard as we kind of build it up to be in our mind. How many times are there things, this used to happen to me all the time when I'm like, oh my gosh, this thing's coming up. It's going to be horrible. Gosh, I would have all this anxiety over this event or this thing. And then I did it and it was over. And I was like, one, I feel so much better. And two, like, that wasn't that bad. It was like the anxiety of it happening was immensely worse than it. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. But exercise, I'm sure, helped you with that anxiety.
I just beat it out on that bag. Let me tell you something. It was, whoo, yeah.
Well, you had so many good tips for us today. Some takeaways I took from this was just get started. And when you're getting started, make sure you're doing it correctly so you don't injure yourself, and then keep going. We heard the word discipline a lot, and so
for me, that's did I say that word?
One more time, discipline.
I might write that on my wall.
How to find that motivation and how to find that discipline is important. And for a lot of people, it may be that you need to involve someone else. And so maybe you're involving that with a coach, a group. Maybe you just have a buddy system or a friend that you can use as an accountability partner. But finding someone else to help you along that road of finding the discipline would be helpful.
It's how we're built. It's how we're literally engineered to like behave.
And I love the analogy you gave. If you don't like doing your taxes, you have no problem calling an accountant to help you with that.
Yeah.
So if physical activity is something new or something you always struggle with, considering hiring a coach to help you do that as well, it makes sense.
Right. Yeah. And like, when you hire a coach, they don't have to be forever. Empowering people to kind of think for themselves and be moderately independent. And what I find people would tell me that's a bad business model to like empower people so they don't need you. But like I've had my accountant, he's shown me how to do my taxes, and I'm paying him more now than ever. I'm like, yo, my tax is getting complicated, dog. So it's one of those things like if you empower people, they're actually going to probably stay with you and want more in some way, shape, or form, you know? But you're building lasting relationships. And so, again, I just want people to, whether they're with me or not, they're thinking like, oh, yeah, Matt helped me with this squat form, or Matt helped me realize that I went in this hotel and there's no gym, but there's stairs, and we can have a lot of fun on the stairs.
And really, we just want all of y'all to take away today that we talk about physical activity all the time and improving our physical health. But we really want you to walk away today thinking about how exercise can help our mental health and stress management, especially right now in the midst of the holidays.
And keep connecting with others in a different way. So we hope you enjoyed this episode. Please leave us a review on Apple or Spotify and share this with anyone else you think could benefit.
And also, don't forget to check out the Better Health Library for tools to help you on your journey of habit change for health.
See you next time.